So I've recently been getting into like tarot and astrology a little bit, and I don't know, I think it's fun, but I've been trying out a bunch of different tarot decks, and I just ordered this one, and so I wanted to do a quick review. I haven't even opened it or took them out of the box yet, but I already think I'm gonna like it. So for packaging, I think this came wrapped in plastic, and I unwrapped it before I came here. But here's what the box looks like. It's a little bit holographic, and it's got, some nice designs on it, so I like that. And I will say, when I first started getting into tarot, I hesitated to get this deck. So this is, it's probably backwards, but A.E. Waite, I think is what they call it. And I think that's kind of like the original set. It's got like these pictures on here, and everything are like, I guess, the standard tarot, like when tarot was first came out. But I didn't like them. There were a lot of other tarot decks that caught my eye because they were pretty. But I actually kind of wish that I would have started out with this basic deck, because when I'm like watching YouTube videos and things like that, a lot of people either use this deck or reference this deck, and a lot of those prettier ones are based off of this deck. And so I felt like this was kind of a nice in-between, because it has the original photo, the original, what am I calling it, illustrations, but it also is kind of holographic and kind of nice. And so if you're new to tarot, most people probably already know this, but generally you'll get like a deck. Sometimes they come in a box that's a little different than this, like that you can like reopen. They come in packaged different ways, but I would say if you're starting out, think about how you want to shuffle them and how big your hands are, because I have some bigger decks that I kind of struggle with them. Like, I'm getting better now that I'm getting more in the hang of shuffling and everything. But that's just something to think about, and how thick they are, because I was reading the reviews on some of the decks, and I just didn't really understand what people were talking about. They were talking about the stock and how thick they were or how flimsy they were, and I didn't know at that time what I wanted or what that meant. And so I kind of thought the way they made it sound was like a thicker deck would be better. But I'm actually finding that I like the thinner ones because it's easier for me to shuffle. But anyway, that's just an aside. And all the decks will come with like a little booklet in some form so if you don't know anything about tarot, when you pull a card, you can look in here and see. So it'll have like the cards. This one's in color, so that's nice. So you have like the cards, and then it just has like a little description of what the cards mean, and this one looks pretty nice. So there's the booklet. Now let's open the cards. So these are wrapped in plastic. Actually, give me a minute. Okay, so I was struggling unwrapping it from the top where the plastic, they have this little thing that's kind of like old cigarette boxes. I don't know if they still do this, but it's got like a little strip. Well, should be easy to pull. Okay, yeah, and you just pull the strip around, so FYI. Okay, so I've opened up the box and kind of looked through the cards, and so far I really like them. Like, I think this is probably, we'll see how they go, but I think this is probably going to be my new go-to deck, just starting out. So it had these two at the top, which are pretty, and it's just like a thank you for choosing MagicSeer. Says this tarot is a handbook to higher consciousness, a book of wisdom disguised as a pack of cards. It shines a clear light on even the most troubling, murky, or confusing situations. And then this is just basically like, if you have questions, contact us, share with your friends, whatever. So yeah, just kind of going back to this, I just want to say one thing about tarot that I've liked so far is, I'll be honest, I don't feel like I get like that spiritual feeling that it looks like some people get. Like, I've watched YouTube videos of people like doing tarot readings and stuff, and I don't think I get like that feeling. I wish I could have like spirit guides talk to me and things like that, but I haven't gotten that feeling from it, or like it's you know, coming from the universe. But one thing that I've personally been finding benefit from it is just, it says, you know, it's a book of wisdom and it shines a light on situations. And what I find is that as I go through the cards, you know, it makes me think about different things. It makes me, you know, just the act of doing it and pulling a card and then seeing what the card means. You look in the book to see what the card means. And then I just kind of think about, like, okay, well, how do I feel right now? Does this relate to me right now? And sometimes I feel like it does and sometimes it doesn't. But in any case, I'm kind of like thinking through things, you know, like it helps me to think through things. So even if you're kind of like me and you don't feel that like spiritual connection or anything yet, I feel like that these can still be a benefit in just kind of assessing you know, what you're going through and what you think about things. So just wanted to put that aside. But basically, based on my limited knowledge of doing this for about a month or two and watching people do this on YouTube and things like that, I'll just give kind of a really brief breakdown of what I know about tarot cards so far, and why I think this deck is a pretty good beginner's card. Because like I said, most of the other cards, tarot cards actually, because there's a difference between tarot cards and oracle cards, but the tarot cards, they all have like a very similar thing. They're a little bit like a deck of cards, except for like with the regular deck of cards, you have like your is it suits? Your different suits, but then you also have, you may have like a joker card in there. So it seems like that you've got 4 different suits. So you've got, this is the Ace of Pentacles. In other ones, I've seen this be called coins. My other deck, it calls this coins. So you'll have like your ace, and then you go, you know, 2 through 10, and then you also have like a king and a queen, and what is it? Not a knight. Yeah, okay, king, queen, knight, and page. So you've got like 1 extra thing there. Yeah, so it's kind of like a deck of cards. You've got your different suits. So you've got the pentacles, you've got the swords, and I think most of them they call swords. And then you've got cups, and I think I've seen it in most of the other ones called cups. And then you've got wands. So it each has, I went through and looked at the deck. And like I said, like I wasn't in love at first with the illustrations on this. They just seem kind of ugly to me, but the more that I've seen people like use these cards, use these decks, like I've come to understand what they mean, and I actually like them now. So, and again, like I said, this deck is kind of nice because it's got like a pretty backing to it, and it's a little bit holographic, so far I really like it. Okay, but the thing that's a little bit different than regular playing cards is that it's got, so like you may get the Joker in your regular playing cards, and that's pretty much it. But this has like a whole bunch of other extra cards, and I always forget what these are called. Oh, the Major Arcana. And to be honest, I'm just now learning this, and I don't understand like how it really plays into tarot. What I've been doing is just kind of like pulling either 1 card a day to be like, what information do you know, what sort of stuff do I need to know for today, and then I'll pull the card and then I'll read like what it says about it, and then like I said, I'll think like, is that relevant for me or is it not? And then there's another way that's pretty common where you pull 3 cards, and 1 card is your past, 1 card is your present, 1 card is your future. So I played around with that a little bit, but watching some YouTube videos over the last week or 2 of these people doing the readings, like there's so much more to it, and there's different meanings to like if you get these Major Arcana cards versus these cards, they mean different things, and I'm not that versed in it yet. But basically you've got these different cards. You've got, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's like the Fool, there's the Magician, there's the High Priestess, High Empress, but then there's also some other ones. Those are kind of like people, but then there's ones like the Lovers. I would say I've been getting this one a lot lately. I've also been getting this Wheel of Fortune lately, so if you guys know what that means. So the Wheel of Fortune, the Lovers, and this Tower one. So yeah, they've got like the Devil, which sounds like a bad thing, but based on what people are saying, like it can be good or bad. Again, with this tower thing, like it looks like this burning tower that's falling down, but apparently that can be a good or bad thing. I think it means like something's about to crumble, there's going to be a big change, you know, whatever. But those are the three I've been getting a lot lately, and the star. So there's just these different cards, and they all mean different things, and a lot of the meanings you can kind of look at the photos or look at the illustrations and kind of get some idea of the meanings. But yeah, like I don't know that much about it yet, so I'm not gonna talk too much more about it. But that's just, you know, this deck has all of the cards that I've been seeing from the other decks. And oh, one thing I do want to show is about the shuffling. So this, I don't know how these people shuffle these decks, to be honest, but I will say some decks have been easier than others, and this deck seems like it's going to be an easier deck for me. And so, you know, what I'm looking for is, you know, it's flimsy, and so it's flimsy enough to like do this little thing and like do two of them together and shuffle them. So I don't have it. I'm a terrible shuffler, so let's see. So it's flimsy enough for me to be able to do that, and some people do the little thing. I've not been trying that lately. But yeah, but overall, like I think the deck is too thick for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to shuffle it all together, but this would definitely be too thick for me to shuffle. So what I've been doing is like breaking it. Like I don't think any standard deck is going to be thin enough for me to shuffle like all in one go. So this is like on the fly, me trying it with this one. Let's see. My hands are so small, but somebody with, oh, I might be able to do it. Okay. Got a little messed up at the end, but I think it got somewhat shuffled. So yeah, if you have small hands, you might be able to shuffle this normally, but like I said, I've been, with my other deck, I've been just breaking it into two and shuffling these kind of individually. And then, like, one thing I've recently started doing, and this is something I'm not going to be able to really speak on with this deck, is, like, it seems like the tarot people, when they'll, like, do a shuffle like that, and then they'll, like, start doing this. And I've seen some of the comments people talk about, like, they're sticky, or they're, you know, whatever. I don't know what that means, so I can't really tell you about that. I will tell you, like, this is pretty glossy, so it seems like they would like slide across each other pretty well, if that's a good thing. So yeah, don't judge my shuffling, but so far I really like this deck. I also got another deck, but yeah, as far as this one, I really like it, and especially for beginners, so far I would recommend this.